Call the meeting to order. If you would, please rise. I'm going to call on Commissioner DeMarcus Marshall to lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
Dear Lord, thank you for the day that you blessed us with, a day that we never seen. We thank you for those who've come out to participate in our local government. Pray for those who wanted to be here but could not be here. Dear Lord, we'd like to say a special prayer for those who are in the midst or way of this possible storm coming, as well as to continue to help heal the areas already damaged by the previous hurricanes. And dear Lord, I'd like to say a special prayer for one of my employees and one of my former classmates, Wendy, who was killed this morning. Pray that you give her peace and pray for her family. Dear Lord, I thank you for our staff and all the hard work that they do for us on a day-to-day basis, and wisdom and guidance that they lead us to do the right thing. And dear Lord, I'd like to say another special prayer for the election tonight, that your will be done, as I know it will. Pray that you continue to bless and guide all of us to do what we know is right as your chosen leaders. All these blessings I ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. All right. Do we have any folks here from Youth Leadership Lounge? Good. Would you mind standing and being recognized, please? Awesome. Thank y'all. All right. At this point, we've got a proclamation for Operation Greenlight. Commissioners, if you would, if you take a minute and join me down front, then we'll read the proclamation. Okay, this proclamation is for supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans. It reads as, whereas the residents of Lowndes County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of these men and women who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Lowndes County seeks to honor these individuals who have paid the high price for freedom while placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. Whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future, and studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. And whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at high risk for suicide during their first year after military service, and the National Association of Counties encourage all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans. Now, therefore, I, Chairman Bill Slaughter, on behalf of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim November the 7th through the 13th, 2022, as Operation Greenlight for Veterans Day in Lowndes County to honor veterans for their service and encourage all Lowndes County citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in a window of their place of business or residence. So proclaimed this 8th day of November, 2022. A very, very good thing that we're doing to recognize the veterans in our community. We have one standing right here by us, as a matter of fact. And do we have any other veterans that's in the room tonight? Again, thank y'all very much. Thank y'all very much. We certainly appreciate it.
Huh?
You're getting good at doing that.
I'm gonna cover the plate.
So you're saying after 10 years, I'm getting good at it?
Yeah. You didn't even miss a word.
All right, Commissioners, inside your packet, you have your work session minutes of October the 24th and your regular session minutes of October the 25th. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections that needs to be made, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the minutes are approved, Ms. Lovern. Agenda item 8 is a public hearing item. This is an addition to the Enhanced Decorative Lighting District at Kinderloo Forest Subdivision, Phases 8A, as well as 9, and the Basic Decorative Lighting District, the Landing Subdivision, Phase 2, for Quarterman Estates Subdivision, Phase 3D, and Walker Run Subdivision, which is down at Lake Park. So we'll be able to do the public hearing with all of these as inclusive as one, or do we need to take these as individual items? Do them all. Well, that's what I was hoping to do. So, thank you. All right, Mr. Dillard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, Commissioners. Again, as stated, the total 110 lots requesting to be added by petition to the enhanced decorative, and the 134 lots requesting to be added through the basic decorative street lighting districts. Staff recommends approval of the attached amendments to the current street lighting ordinance.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Dillard? Okay, hearing none, we'll open up the public hearing portion of the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this request? Anyone that would like to speak in favor? All right, hearing none, we'll close the public participation portion of the meeting and turn it back over to the commissioners for your consideration.
Motion to approve as presented.
Okay, we have a motion to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. And I apologize for that. My mother-in-law is calling me, so I better jump at them. All right, we'll move on now into agenda items 9 for your consideration. We'll begin, of course, with agenda item 9A, and this is the emergency repairs for the public safety radio system due to lightning damage. Mr. Weeks.
Yes, sir. Good evening. As I explained yesterday, we're asking for money this time. We've had a lightning strike, got damage at 2 of our sites, working a little bit degraded mode right now, and we need to have permission to spend some money to get that repaired and get everything back like it needs to be. Be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Weeks? Thank you, Mr. Weeks. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize and approve the request.
Okay, we have a motion to authorize and approve the request. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries.
Agenda item 9C is the acceptance of the FY 2023 Delinquency Prevention Grant. Mr. Ty.
Good evening. As we discussed yesterday, this is the acceptance of the grant previously authorized by the commission for us to submit the application. We were awarded the funding, and so we just need your approval for the chairman to sign the documents which would activate the award. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Ty? Thank you, Mr. Ty. All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Okay, we have a motion to approve the request. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 9C is the selection of providers for the implementation of Strengthening Families programs. Mr. Ty.
Now that you've accepted the money, we need to spend it. So part of the grant, we issued requests for proposals for qualified firms to implement Strengthening Families program, which is what the grant that we just discussed pays for. And so we received two bids, as we discussed yesterday, both one from Peaceway Counseling and Mediation, who currently has been doing the SFP for the first year of the grant, and also from Legacy Behavioral Health Services. Both firms met the qualifications, and Judge Counsel had made his recommendation. He has a preference that we would award it to Peaceway Counseling, but it's obviously the board's pleasure, so we just seek your direction to select the provider that you would like to award the proposal to. Be glad to answer any questions you have, and Judge Counsel is, again, in the audience if you have any more questions for him.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ty. Any questions for Mr. Ty?
Well, maybe the judge can answer. I just want to know his preference between the two.
Peaceway.
I mean, between the two, I mean, what is his preference? Why the preference?
Definitely is a judge. County Commissioners, thank you all for allowing me just a few minutes to talk to you about the preference. Shortly after we finished this past session, I received a letter from the people that financed it, and they congratulated Lowndes County and for implementing the program and having such a wonderful success rate. The success rate was 85%. That's high, okay? And so knowing that the parties and doctor, and both of them are doctors, they are here today. I'm telling you that I know that they have done a wonderful job implementing the grant, and I would like to see them keep on doing that, because I'm trying to get the reduction in the amount of people that turn to delinquency at a young age. These kids are turning to delinquency at age 11, 10, 12. Had a hearing Monday, gunned second time with a child that just turned 13. It's ridiculous. They don't mind their parents. This is a program that draws together the family unit, teaches respect for the family unit, giving them an opportunity to grow up to be citizens who respect the law, who respect others in the community. And this is a wonderful program. These people have the degrees, doctor degrees, in the areas that are necessary to accomplish what we need to have accomplished. And hopefully, we can have further reduction in crimes. Right now, we have a lot of them on a regular basis. Haven't had a gun charge since Monday. Okay? 13-year-old, second time with an actual pistol, one time earlier with a BB gun that he displayed. So it's very important. Is there anything that you all like to say? just briefly now, not, just.
Good evening, Commissioner. And I would just like to say that we've enjoyed facilitating the actual Strengthening Families Program for the first time this past cycle, ended in September on about 27th. Had a great success rate, as Judge Council mentioned. A lot of key components about the family is actually displayed in that particular program. And we did a good job facilitating that. We also saw a lot of family members improve and actually really benefit from the program as they actually celebrated their graduation on the 27th. We enjoy facilitating it. We love an opportunity to be able to facilitate it again. It matches our core values. It also matches our degree program, which we are licensed marriage and therapists, and we have 5 people total that's already trained in the program as well. Yes, my name is Terrell Andrews. My wife is Lucretia Andrews, who's here in attendance with me. Licensed marriage and therapist, 3 degrees from Valdosta State, 2 master's degrees and a bachelor's degree, and then also a doctorate degree from Nova Southeastern University out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And Peaceway Counseling Mediation Service, we've been here in the city for 16 years, providing services at Peaceway. We've lived here in the county for 26 years.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for what you're doing.
Any other questions? Okay. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
Peaceway Counseling and Mediation Services.
Okay. Motion to approve Peaceway Counseling Services. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Commissioners, I've had some brief conversations with you in regard to an item that I'd like to add to the agenda. We'll call it Agenda 9D, and this was a request that came from the city of Hayhira, actually a request from the property owner, involves the city of Hayhira on a de-annexation request on a piece of property that is currently inside the city limits of Hayhira. We initially felt like that our direction would be to just let Hayhira take action on this question, and then we would follow up. However, I have learned that there has already been some precedents that's set as far as the procedures, and so the procedure is that Lowndes County would go first, and so I'm going to add this to an agenda item, and I'm going to ask for a motion. My recommendation would be to not object to the request, but that again is your authority to do whichever one you want to do. So with that, I'll entertain a motion unless you have any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the de-annexation, if the city of Hayhira so chooses.
Okay, so you do not object to the annexation. Okay, so we have a request, on that request, no objection. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have several. So we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. All right, our next agenda items, these are 2 bid items. Agenda item 10A is the partial renovation to the 2nd floor administration building. Mr. McLeod?
Yes, sir. Thank you. The partial renovation to the 2nd floor project was designed specifically for the incoming inspections and permitting department. There were 2 bidders. Kellerman Construction was the low bidder on the low base bid and the additive alternate number 1 at $313,282.
That's the base bid?
Plus the additive alternate number 1.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. McLeod? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the Kellerman Construction low bid, including the additive alternate number 1, and authorize the chairman to sign the contract.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the bid of Kellerman Construction with the additive alternate. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item 10B is the historic Lowndes County Courthouse Rehabilitation and Restoration Project, and this is the furniture package. Mr. McLeod.
Yes, sir. This furniture package was designed specifically for the historic courthouse and to fit in every room in the courthouse. The furniture package included contemporary furniture and historic period furniture. There were 3 companies that were interested in the proposal. Only one of the companies submitted. That company was Business Interiors, and the base bid of the contemporary furniture was $109,923.14, and the period furniture bid of $164,560.29 for a total of $274,483.43.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. McLeod?
Mr. Cloud, was there any reason the other 2 did not put a bid, did they say why they didn't put a bid in? Either one of them?
I did not hear from CDS. I did call Lee Office Supply, and basically they did not have time to put everything together. We did put it out for the required time of over 30 days. But with the amount of substitutions that everything is designed with a base recommendation, and then they get substitutions on what they can order. They're so busy they didn't have time to put anything together.
Okay.
And as we discussed yesterday, the bid came in substantially lower than the budgeted number.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious.
Sure, I understand.
Why, never mind, it doesn't matter.
But
Understand.
and the county's worked with Business Interiors before? Was that during the original, was it that?
That is correct. It's been in recent years that they've came around, and we've done some business with them on a smaller scale, but I've got confidence that they can pull this off.
Any other questions for Mr. McLeod? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the Business Interiors as the low bidder and authorize you to sign the contract with them.
Okay, we have a motion then to approve Business Interiors as the low bidder and authorize the chairman to enter into the contract. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 11, County Manager's Report. Ms. Dukes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. To reiterate what Commissioner Marshall referred to earlier, we did lose one of our own this morning on her way to work. Our thoughts and prayers remain with Miss Wendy Young and her family. She was a valued county employee since 2015. She was a part of our Lowndes County family. She's a fantastic worker, and she will definitely be missed. So we are reaching out to her family. The majority of them live far out of state, but we're working with the coroner's office and with our contacts internally to do what we can for her family as well. I do want to remind you all that our offices will be closed on Friday in observance of Veterans Day. This is a new holiday that you all added last year. Thank you again for that and for the proclamation earlier. Not only do we have 2 serving, we have many of our employees and then employees who also have spouses. I'm actually the proud spouse of a veteran as well, so thank you for that on Friday. We will have the construction manager at-risk package out by the end of the month for the mental health expansion at the Lowndes County Jail. You all have approved $5 million in the direction of that project. Chad's worked really hard with the architect. We have drawings that the sheriff has approved. We've worked with Captain Clifton, done all of our due diligence there, and the sheriff is also in agreement with the CM at risk. So we feel like that's the best way for us to keep the project on a good timeline as well as under budget. So we'll have that out by the end of the month. Thank you for the approval on the remodel of the 2nd floor. We continue to move forward with all the plannings related to permits and inspections. With that, I would like to introduce to you Miss Diane Carter. Some of you may remember Diane. She worked for the City of Valdosta in permits and inspections several years ago. I'm happy to say that we stole her from South Georgia Medical Center. She had been managing some construction projects and doing other things for them Commissioner Ornstein, you can have a conversation with Diane because you all speak a language that none of us understand yet, but we will. But we are so glad to have Diane here. She is our Assistant Director of Permits, Inspections, and Code Enforcement, working under Ms. Bates. She has hit the ground running. She came in with a stack of work that she'd already completed, and we'll have a more detailed update for you all next week on that. A reminder that the South Georgia Regional Commission Appreciation Dinner is tomorrow evening in Adel. That starts at 5 p.m. On November the 21st at 10 a.m., there will be a Shop Small Business Saturday proclamation in front of the chamber that Ms. Barwick has been working with Ms. Christy Moore on. Small Business Saturday is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so we were just talking earlier, that's only a couple of weeks away. Shopping season is among us, and we want to encourage our citizens to buy local. November the 22nd at 6 a.m. at the Valdosta High School is the Second Harvest Thanksgiving for Thousands. Last year, we had more than 30 of our employees, including Commissioner Evans, that were a part of that event. This is Second Harvest opportunity to provide food for families that need help with food preparing their Thanksgiving dinner. We had the largest group from a single organization there last year, and we look forward to that again this year. It really is rewarding. That's right, you and Lynn were there too. Okay, so forgive me, it's been a long day. As you all know, because you were there last year.
Up at 5:30 and went, recognize me in the
That's
city.
right. Sorry. It's cold. Everybody's bundled up.
It was cold out.
Hopefully it won't be as cold this time. Anyway, so we hope that you guys will join us. If you have not been, I encourage you to come out. It is really, it's rewarding and it's very well organized, and it's just a great thing to be a part of. And the last thing that I have for you all this evening is I'd like to ask our Emergency Management Director, Mr. Ashley Ty, to give us an update on the impending weather.
So the fact that I'm here is reflective of why we tell everybody the hurricane season is not over until November 30th. So we do have another tropical storm brewing. This one's named Nicole. Nicole is currently just a little bit east of the Bahamas, and it's being steered by a lot of meteorological stuff that I won't bore you with. But it's kind of started to make a southward turn. It's kind of curving down, but then it's going to is expected to make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane around the West Palm Beach area. And then curve, right now the current forecast shows it curving and coming basically right up the peninsula of Florida. It may actually creep back out over the Gulf of Mexico briefly. But the important thing for us is as it comes through, right now the current forecast has the center of the track that we tell everybody not to focus on going right through Lowndes County. Over the last 24 hours, the confidence has increased with the forecast as it shifted just slightly to the west, that we will see some tropical storm impacts. That's, I would say, since this morning, pretty much consistently all day. Our wind speed probabilities, there's about a 50 to 60% chance that Lowndes County will experience tropical storm force winds, and typically, as the storm gets closer, then those percentages go up. So we'll watch those trends. If they keep going up, that lets us know that the risk is increasing. If they were to start going down, then obviously that's a good sign for us. But all signs right now point to Thursday morning, probably around mid-morning, sometime between mid-morning and noon, we'll start experiencing tropical storm conditions. The good news is with rainfall from two fronts. Number one, we're going to get some rain, which we haven't had in quite a while, so hopefully this can help ease some of the drought conditions. And this is supposed to be a very fast-moving storm. As it comes over the area, it's going to be moving 16 to 17 miles an hour, which is pretty fast for a tropical storm, so it's not going to sit there and dump a whole bunch of rain. We're looking at 2 to 4 inches, could creep up to 3 to 5. The further west it goes, the more rain we'll get. But again, the big thing is we're going to really pay attention and focus over the next 24 hours as we get additional briefings on the tropical storm conditions and how that might affect schools, businesses, our day-to-day activities. So we have another briefing scheduled at 11:45 in the morning with the Weather Service. So our picture should be a little clearer We had 2 briefings today and been communicating with our stakeholders and partners and trying to keep everybody updated. I anticipate that in the morning I'll be getting with Ms. Barwick and we'll be putting out some information. She's been sharing everything on social media that the Weather Service has been putting out, but we'll probably get a little more proactive with our messaging starting tomorrow. Again, unless something drastically changes overnight, then we are anticipating, sometime Thursday, starting to see those conditions, and then should be moved out by Friday morning. So if you've got any questions about the forecast for the storm, I'd be glad to answer those, but that's the update I have for now.
You guarantee that rain?
I don't guarantee anything, especially not after what we experienced with Hurricane Ian. That thing went, one day we're right in the barrel, and the next day, I've often kind of joked that I would prefer, 36 hours out. I want the storm to be headed right for us, because it's going to change one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, it's going to go to the west or the east. It's just a matter of which one. So, I don't make any guarantees with the weather. That'd be like betting on the Falcons.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add that we talk about this with the department heads, but if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So all of our departments are ready. The county is ready. So regardless of what that track does and what the forecast ends up being, we are prepared to take care of our community.
I know y'all, we appreciate that. Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? I will, again, just remind you, of course, Veterans Day is Friday. If you have an opportunity, attend some of the veterans events that's in our community. I know I'll be attending the one with Post 13, which will be at Lowndes High School in the Performing Arts Center at 10 o'clock. I believe there's a parade in Hayhira. I believe it starts at 10 o'clock. So we can't be everywhere, but we need to be somewhere. So if you get an opportunity to do that, then go out again and support these veterans. So this is our only meeting in November. So I know we'll see each other, but publicly, I want to wish you all a very happy and safe Thanksgiving, and look forward to time with family, and enjoy the time you have. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman.
So, any other business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.